Hello everyone and welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina and I was asked from one of our viewers to, she sent me a message through Facebook and she asked me how to make a snap purse. She said she watched several tutorials and she still was a little confused, didn't know how to do it. She wanted me to make one my way. How would I make one? So I decided to give it a try. So I had a couple frames here like this, and I decided that I was gonna give it a try and make my own and show you guys how. But before that, I would like to show you guys a couple of things that had came to the website, the new fabrics that had arrived. And this one here, as you see, is a camping panel. I could see myself, I really love this line, and I could see myself really trying to make something with this middle camp one. Is really pretty. I think will look gorgeous in a bag or even on a quilt, will look very amazing. So it has a lot of little squares around. It can be cut down to placemats, and you can make a really nice set if you really put your mind to it. It's very bright and fun. And this line has several different fabrics. They were fat quarters, and I actually have a bundle here from the whole line that I actually cut into fat quarters. So I have one fat quarter of each ones that came with this line, and I'm just going to show you. There's this one here, very bright squares. There's this one that has all the little animal prints. Then the one that has the little campers, really adorable little campers. Then of course some greens and blues that would be nice for a background. There's a bit of a newsprint. There's this one that has the outdoors, and then has this one that has all the words. And this now, I decided that for this video I would do this as a giveaway, this fat quarter bundle to one of you. Just leave a comment and I will do my best to announce the winner on the next video, and if not, will be the video after. In about 2 weeks or so the winner should be announced. And if your name is announced, you have about 2 weeks to message us with your information so we can ship your fabric. Okay, so and this is it for this, and we're gonna go back to our project. So for this project here, this little snap bag, you're gonna need a frame, a little frame like this. And this one that I'm using here is a 3.5 inch frame. And I'm also going to tell you how to adjust the measurements if your frame is bigger, depending of the size of your frame that you can adjust. This one is the ones that actually, it's a frame that has a little screw to put it together. But there are people that make this normally just with one of those measuring tapes that they cut and make it into a frame. But since I didn't have the measuring tape and I do have these in the store, I decided to just use a frame and show you how to do this little bag here with this frame. So my frame is 3.5, and most of my measurement is going to be 1.5 inches bigger for this particular bag. And let me show you how. So what I have here is I'm going to be doing with this Disney print. I also will be putting this on the website. You guys can check the link on the bottom of the video. And what I have here is 4 little pieces. And this would be a 5-inch square and a 5-inch square, and I'm gonna put this here so you can see, so we can see all the pieces, and will be easier for you if you want to take notes and see how to write it down. So 5-inch square, 5-inch square, 5-inch square, and 5-inch square. From my outside fabric, from the length, I took 1 inch off, so I end up with 5 inches by 4 inches, and I split them in half. So I have 2.5 and 2.5, 2.5 and 2.5 by 4. Then for this part here that I have here in the middle, I have, you're going to cut 2 pieces. And this is going to be 2 inches wide by 4 inches. That's going to go here in the middle, like that, and like that. All right. Then for this top here where your frame is going to go in, where the frame is, I have 2 little pieces of fabric here, And again, has to be 1.5 inches bigger than your frame. So if your frame here is 3.5, my piece here, I cut 5 inches. So I have a 5-inch piece here. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold and fold about 1/4 and 1/4 like this, and 1/4 and 1/4, and you should end up with a piece that's about 4 inches, just a half inch bigger than your frame, because you see it gathers a little bit in here. If you don't want any gathering, you can definitely fold your folds a little bit bigger to end up with like a 3-inch type of thing, or a 3 3.25 or 3.5 type of thing, just the size of the frame. So if the frame is 3.5 and you don't want this to gather at all, you can definitely fold this to end up with exactly as 3.5 as the side of your frame. But I want mine to gather a little bit. So I folded mine to 4 inches. So when I have this folded like this, I have 4 inches, you know, when I fold these. And I'm going to sew here and here, and I'm going to do that one for there, and this one for here. And then for this little triangle here that you see I have with a little flower, this was 2 little squares that I have, was 3-inch square. Okay, fold in half, and you have the little triangle that's going to go here, and the same one for here. And of course you're going to need one of these frames. Okay, so if your frame was 4.5, so you would be cutting a 6-piece. So this here wouldn't be 5, it would be 6, and you would divide it in half. You would end up with 3 and 3. And the same thing here. And then this piece here would also be 6 inches. And then you would do your folding and sewing. Okay, so that's the way it works. So to put this together is actually quite simple. You're going to go ahead and sew this to the side, and this one to the side. Okay, this one to the side, that one to that side. All right, I'm gonna do that and show you what it looks like. So I sew mine. As you see, I did it with white thread so you would see it. And what I did, I got a ruler. I used actually Creative Grid ruler, and I went ahead and I rounded my corner here, and rounded this one, rounded this one, and rounded that one. I end up with a piece like that. Now I'm ready to put the rest of this together. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew this down and this down like that. Okay, and then fold it in half. And then I'm gonna go ahead here and find the middle of the red fabric. I'm gonna crease it a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring this middle to here and this middle to here, and we can go ahead and put it a clip like that. Then I'm gonna get my little square and put it there. I'm gonna find the middle also and center with that. Okay, and then this piece, after you sew the sides, gonna fold it in half, and you're gonna center that to the middle. This part here should still be about 5 inches, so you should end up with about 1/4 inch in each side, a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch in each side when you put this piece down. When you put this piece down here, you should end up with enough seam allowance in each side. If you see you don't have enough seam allowance in each side, you can go ahead, open the pleat a little bit to give a little bit more fabric to each side, or you already sewed this, so you would definitely open just the pleat a little bit and don't have your little pleat here as closed as mine. You could definitely have them a little bit spread apart, just to have enough for seam allowance. So you're gonna go ahead and sew that. So you end up with 2 pieces just like that. So let's do this one here. After you've done all of this, you sew this secure, you're gonna go ahead and put one on top of the other here. Make sure when we sew this here that we missed when we sew this, we have no red sewing in. We're just sewing the two exterior fabrics together. You're going to go ahead and sew that all the way around like that. Okay? So I have my piece here. As you see, I sew all the way around, and when I turn it to the right side, I end up with a piece like this. Okay? Before I turn this around, however, I'm going to leave this in the wrong side like this here. I'm going to grab my 5-inch squares here. That's for my lining. I'm going to put this here and here. As you see, I'm going to go ahead and trace this. I'm going to round this corner here. So I'm going to go here. This is too long, right? 5-inch by 5-inch is too long. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the bottom here. And I'm going to round my corner. Alright, I'm going to round my corner because I don't need this to be too wide. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and here, I'm going to trace this here to the top. So I'm just going to put it to the bottom like this, as you see, like that. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this to this size. Alright, so I end up having this shape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew this around, all the way around, just leaving the top open. So I have my piece here that I sew around. I'm going to leave a little opening in the bottom to flip it inside out. And I'm going to go ahead and put, so we have to have right sides together. So I'm going to turn this one to the right side. Just like this. I'm going to feed this one in here. I'm going to match the seams here. The bottom is not important if it's a little bit shorter. It's actually better so you don't end up with a lot of bulk in the bottom. So you're going to go ahead and sew this around. This is sometimes, because it's very small, is more difficult to sew. So you're going to go ahead and put this in the sewing machine like this. So the foot like this, and you're going to keep turning it like this to sew it. Alright? All the way around. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I sew mine around. Now I'm ready to turn it inside out. I left a very, very tiny hole. So maybe you can leave it a little bit bigger. I tend to leave all these tiny little holes. I only left about 1 inch, but I would probably leave it a little longer if you have a hard time turning things inside out. Check, make sure you cut everything. You don't have anything that you need to fix. Better get scissors. Rotary cutters can be very sharp. You have to always watch them so you don't get hurt. So you're going to go ahead and sew the lining here. Okay, and then turn this to the inside. If you're not going to put buttons, you can fold this all down and go ahead and do a top stitch. I'm going to put a button, so I'm not even going to do a top stitch. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to sew my lining. So, and this is good. So now I'm ready to put my frame. I can do my buttons after. So I have my frame here. I'm just going to open it, and I'm going to feed some from this side and some from this side, and just slide it right in like that. And you see, it's just a tiny little bit, the fabric is just a tiny little bit bigger than my frame. Oh, this one, this side doesn't seem to want to come out. Let's have a look. All right. So these ones, these frames, they fit inside of each other just like that. And they come with a tiny little screw that I left here so I wouldn't lose it. Then you slide the screw right through all the pieces in there. And with a little bit set of pliers, I have these little pliers here. There's a tiny little piece, I know you probably can see, it's very small, that you're going to go ahead and fold on top of that little screw, push it in like that, close it. And the same thing with this side. There's one here that you're gonna turn it in, so the screw will stay right in there and it will not come out. So we're gonna adjust this. We're gonna go ahead, adjust our fabric. As I said to you, I want mine to have a little bit of gathering. If not, you can definitely fold a little bit more in and then you end up with no gathering. If you want this to be a little tighter, you can cut your piece here. We did 2.5. You could do slightly smaller so it's not as loose, but I like mine like that so it can move freely. And now I have this like this, so I'm gonna grab my little Mickey Mouse button. I'm gonna sew one here, and I'm gonna go ahead and sew another one on the other side, and her little bag is done. I hope you guys like this project, and just check the website and subscribe to the channel, because the more subscribers, maybe I can dedicate more time to do more videos for you guys. And I hope to see you next time here for another tutorial. Happy sewing, everyone.